All right, all right. Morning, everybody. Well, actually, afternoon, everybody. This is Michelle Carruthers here. This is episode 5, The Evolution of the Consciousness. Love is spoken here. I'm up, and I've been up for a while. On one of my favorite days of the week, I told you, and I've said this for a while in my videos. There's something about Sunday that brings me some joy, brings me a bit of comfort, because I can remember growing up in our family, a family of a lot of us. There was a lot of us in the house all the time, so our house was constantly active, let's put it that way. And so I can remember, for some reason about Sunday, smelling bacon in the air, listening to black soul, gospel music. Sometimes Reverend Knight would step in and give his sermons. We would have to listen to that for some reason. And he always had the same sermon every Sunday, which was weird, but whatever, right? Smelling bacon in the air, listening to music, hearing my mama yelling all over the house, my dad outside working on his projects and this and that and the other, all the rest of us running around the house. So it was an active house, just put it that way. There was always something going on. My mom was very loud before she became sick, and because she was that extrovert type, and she was always loud, always talking. She was either screaming one of our names, come and do this, come and do that, she made her presence known in the house, and we all knew who was in charge of the house. So, and my dad had no issues with that, not at all. He didn't complain about that. He didn't care. He knew that he was going to be taken care of, and he knew that all of us were going to be taken care of by my mom. So there was no issues or no concerns about that in our care. And that's what's so important about when you think about the necessities of life. It's about how you're being taken care of, how people model love for you. Love is an act. Love is, it's action, it's behavior. And my mom presented us with all the action and behaviors we need. Doesn't matter what any of my other siblings may say, because they all have their own perception and reality. I know one of them was complaining about the fact that they never heard my mom say that she loves us, which I think is illogical. When you think what she could have done, she could have thrown our asses out on the street, and say, fend for yourself. My mom made sure we were fed, that we had clothing. She made sure we took our ass to school, even on days I didn't want to go, because I thought it was boring as hell. I'll get back to that in another time. She did everything in her power to get us out of the house. Go in the backyard and this and that and the other, so that she can, spend some time for herself. Because if she wasn't meeting my father's demands, she was meeting all of our demands. And for the most part, my mom was she was a feminine, loving, nurturing type of woman. Even though she'll, she can rev it up just like the best of them, she'll curse you out in, 1 minute, and the next minute, it's all good. My mom did have a issue, in my opinion, with bipolarness. She'll be high, and then she'll be low. But anyway, today is Sunday. I'm working, this is a work in progress. I want to make that very clear. As I'm doing my podcast, The Evolution of the Consciousness, Love is Spoken Here, this is episode 5. Even though I'm recording my content, I got a lot of stuff going on in my studio here. A lot of stuff is going on. And I'm doing everything I can to make sure I work on the sound. The sound of my podcast is of the utmost importance, because I know I'm going to have a lot of intellectual talking heads listening in. And I want to make sure my sound is clear, and I'm speaking clearly and effectively, and there's no misunderstandings, and that I am understood. I hope that's very clear and effective, because otherwise, what's the point? So I'm not going to come in here and have everything all set up beautifully. I got this or that going on in the background, this or that going on in the background. No, you're coming along with me while I'm setting up my studio, setting up my computer, my electronics and computers and blah, 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 I'm going to still record some content. You understand? Because there's plenty to talk about. Even though there's like millions and millions of people out there talking, a lot of people are going to just resonate with what, matters to them. And I hope my content does matter, because ultimately the essence of our lives is to become a fully developing human being. And that means what? Elevating our consciousness. Okay, it's about the consciousness. And a lot of people are figuring that out. And what that means is, I'm going to give you some definitions, because I follow some of the teachings. I follow most of the teachings of Billy Meyer. I read all of his books that are translated in English. But he gives information. He gives us knowledge. But I'm responsible for thinking about it, cultivating it, contemplating it, and presenting my theories and opinions based on my knowledge and experience. I'm not regurgitating his quotes, running around regurgitating his quotes, or regurgitating any philosopher's quotes or anyone who had a significance on our cultures. You don't see me going around quoting shit about them, okay? Or regurgitating some of their quotes, because for the most part, some of them, a lot of the philosophers, Aristotle, Socrates, and the likes, they presented us back in the times with a lot of theories and opinions, okay? And those theories and opinions were to be discussed, okay, and have conversations about. They were not concrete. In other words, they were not necessarily the truth per se. They had an inkling of truth, but it was necessary to contemplate it, to cultivate it, meditate on it, but no ruminating on it. And so it was an opportunity that we all missed. The majority of the people on the planet did not and will not elevate their consciousness to a level that's sustainable to be considered a genuine human being. And what does that mean? We all go through kindergarten, right? We all go through kindergarten. But if you stay in kindergarten for 20, 30, 40 years, and you're not elevating from there, what happens? You usually are not going to be able to catch up to the complexities and responsibilities and accountabilities of a human being on this planet, especially now. You're going to be considered an idiot. And no one wants to be considered an idiot, but a lot of behaviors and actions fall in that realm of just pure idiots. And it's a behavior and action. It's not a personal attack. So my job as a developing human being is to assist others to disseminate the best of my ability how I've been able to elevate my consciousness and refine my vision, refine my auditory, refine my feelings and emotions. At the same time, develop my spiritual aspects of sensing and receiving and all other sensing that's involved with that, which I told you is about 12. So I follow a lot of the teachings of Billy Meyer. I call him Beam, because he is a beam of light to me. He's brought so much light to my life. Even though you learn things from the darkness of the light, you learn something from the lightness of the darkness. And I appreciate the fact that he just puts the information out, but I'm responsible for cultivating it and contemplating it. The same thing with any book that you read. You just don't go around rambling quotes all day long. And for the most part, a lot of you cannot, a lot of people do not even know what the heck a lot of these quotes mean, because the individuals that wrote those quotes are no longer with us. So all we're doing is assuming we understand the meaning and the attempts these philosophers, psychiatrists, whoever, these high spiritual thinking, high consciousness thinking people were doing back in the day. Also in Greek mythology. I don't know why it's called Greek mythology. because that's actual reality. There's no myth about any of the teachings of the Greeks or that Greek period. So there's just a lot of things we don't know. Okay, and I'm thankful that I at least gave myself the opportunity to take in as much knowledge as I can during this lifetime, during this personality, and that I was willing to help and share with people, help and share with others, and to assist them as well. You teach me, I teach you. We're all in this together. So no one's above me and no one's below me. Okay, and that's the same for you. You're no one's above you, no matter who you're praying to, and no one's below you. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about. I have a lot to talk about, and I look forward to the questions that are coming forth to give me an opportunity to share you my theories and opinions, based on my experiences. And everything that I'm doing is about love. I'm doing this for love. I'm doing this on behalf of love. I'm doing this on universal love. I'm doing this based on universal love. At the end of the day, for me, it's all about love, and I hope my love is felt. I hope you see me. I hope you hear me, and know that I'm genuine. I'm original. I make mistakes. So again, my podcast, Evolution of the Consciousness, Love is Spoken Here. This is episode number 5. And what I'm doing is basically setting up my studio here, getting the sound. I have to work on the sound. There's some interference coming from somewhere. I don't know if it's interference coming within this unit here, or it's interference with my equipment. My equipment is old. And there may be some compatibility issues. Who knows? And I do have a lot of wireless stuff going on in here, so it could be some interference with the wiring and the wirelessness, because the wirelessness, imagine all that stuff floating around in the air and all the rest of the energy going on in the air. There's a lot of things that can cause a lot of interference with a lot of our content, whether we are speaking it, singing it, So I want to make it clear and effective that I'm doing this because I want to. I'm doing this because it's my duty and responsibility. I'm doing this because it's voluntary. I'm doing this to elevate my consciousness, assist others in elevating their consciousness, getting to the meat of the matter. And the meat of the matter is we do not know. I would say over half of who we are, what we are, and why we are. We see ourselves materialistically, but there's so much more, something deep and rich within all of us. And we cannot consider ourselves genuine human beings until we tap into that. We all are responsible for tapping into that and asking ourselves, what is it? Why is it? How is it? And where is it? This and that and the other. There's a whole lot of questions. There are a lot of people who are afraid to ask because they don't want to look crazy. They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to be humiliated. They don't want people making fun of them. But hopefully, we're going to get past all of that type of behavior. Because I told you, I am a highly sensory type of a woman, meaning I can pick up energy. I can pick up certain levels of warnings and dangers and this and that and the other. And I've been able to do this since I was a child. Okay, like I said, I'm not a witch, which I don't have an issue with witches. Okay, I'm not a sorcerer. Okay, I don't have any powers by reading palms. That's not how I operate. But I send peace and love to those who choose to operate in such a manner. I don't. I use my sensing and receiving and other spiritual senses within me because I'm in connection with the earth. We all are, but I'm aware of it. I can, I'm in tune with the earth, and we all can be, and we all ought to. That's how we know and can sense dangers, sense warnings, those type of things. So I hope to teach everyone that's interested and how we can get this going and get this revolution going, get this renaissance going, and make it as historic as it will be this time in our lives. As we're approaching the dawning of the age of Aquarius, it's going to be a historical, our existence on this planet Earth is going to be a historical moment that will go on for millions and millions, billions and billions of years, this period of time. So it's very important. And I sense that, again, like I said, I had some sort of awakening. That's as best I can describe it in 2022. And I told you it was significant. And I don't know who else, how many others recognize that, but it was an event, okay, unlike anything I've ever experienced in my life. I thought I was losing my goddamn mind, but it turned out to be anything but. I am grounded in reality, okay? I am in sharp awareness of my presence. I'm grounded in my reality. I know what I hear, I know what I see, and there's no delusion on my behalf. I understand the difference between being in delusion, being in fantasy, being in imagination, and I also know the difference and what it means to be in this space and time, in this reality, okay? And if you can just touch that, that's where you find joy, enthusiasm, gratefulness, because I know who I am. I know what I am. And it has nothing to do with me materialistically. When we get so wrapped up in all of that, that's just our ego attempting to protect us. But we are not our egos. Our egos are there to present ourselves. That's something we developed. But we are not our egos. We are more than that. So I hope to share some things, but we're not going to get caught up so much in the words. I'm going to do everything I can as a visionary type person to explain it to you in visionary terms and make it clear and effective. But don't get too concerned about whether you're talking about your consciousness, whether you're talking about your, whether you're talking about your psyche, whether you're talking about your soul. Because at the end of the day, it's about, like someone said, comprehension. Understanding. Is it clear and effective? Is it logical? Is it rational? Is it reasonable? Is it reproducible? Okay, that ought to grab your attention. Other than beliefs, supernatural, your convictions, your faith. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off for today. I may come back a little later, if the inspiration hit me, because, I do get inspired. Sometimes all I do is think about certain things and I get inspired. I think about certain people, I get inspired. And so that's what it's all about, looking for that spark. Beam calls it steindalitosis, which is it's a spark. It's like something that just kind of, bring yourself into complete focus and observance and in complete now, right in your reality. And it's like, whoa. And there's it's like a break between all the other simulated stuff that we create, and it's all usually created in our thoughts. Okay? Elevating the consciousness is the utmost important for all of us. Like I said, some of us have missed the threshold of that, and they will not elevate themselves enough. And that's going to make sense in the coming times as I explain all of this in stages. So, again, my name is Michelle Carruthers. This is my 5th podcast, Evolution of the Consciousness, Love is Spoken Here. I'm a work in progress, and I will continue to be a work in progress for billions of years. I'm developing, but at the same time, I'm enjoying the moment. I'm enjoying the awareness I have about things, the expansion I have about things, and the people I hope to touch and make a difference in your life where we are, we're going on a path. A lot of us are not going on the same path. That should be obvious. There's some of us that parallel together. We are parallel sisters and brothers where we are like-mindedness. We're going to be doing our thing the best way we can. Most of you are creative types. And I know that. And you know who you are. You don't have to, I recognize you. I recognize you. In other words, I see you. I hope you see me. So, again, evolution of the consciousness. Love is spoken here. My name is Michelle Carruthers. I'm going to sign off on this Sunday and send peace and love all over. But trust me, I'll be back.